I walked in the place, sat by the bar, all the drinks on me, don't go too far, sitting by the bartender, asked her.
What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Icon E. And here we on 910 Sports once again for another episode. I know we've been off for a couple of weeks, so you know what I mean. So we want to get this thing popping off right. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna go from my right to my left. I got my man, Mr. Georgia Everything, Mr. Probably in his feelings this morning because Atlanta Hawks got the brakes beat off of last night. You know what I'm saying? Steve in the building. You know what I'm saying? I don't even think they even showed up for the game.
They lost by 13 points.
Nah, bro. Nah, they were down by 50. And then they don't matter when you put the third string in there. You know what I mean? That don't matter. No, only
third string was never in the game.
Well,
you need to stop. You didn't even watch the game.
That's even worse.
I ain't finna listen to what you're talking about, and you ain't watch the game.
They should have put the fifth string.
Okay, wait till John Moran do. Watch what John Moran do to the Lakers. Don't worry about it.
That won't happen. They ain't happen.
The Lakers gonna lose by 25 today. Don't worry.
We talking about them now. We talking about them pigeons.
You can't talk about the Hawks. You sitting up here lying.
We got Steve in the building. What's going on, fam? You all right? Okay.
Georgia fans always in their feelings, though.
Yeah.
You're right. We just national champion.
Not really, bro. Y'all just start winning.
Yeah.
But Clemson ain't winning no more. Don't do that. We ain't finna do this. We ain't finna do this more. Let that man go ahead and finish what he's saying.
So at the bottom we got Mr. Right Hand Man. We got Mr. Versatility himself. Mr. Midnight Love voice, all that. Yo, what you call yourself? The new Luther?
The young, get it straight. The young Barry White.
The young Barry White. I'm sorry. Jacob the Great in the building. What's going on, brother?
What's happening, man? Praise to the Most High. We here. We on this side of the dirt, man. And so, we're going to get into a little football, the journey of Coach Tillmon.
Well, let me correct myself. I forgot to say, like I always say, thank God for this opportunity. So let me correct myself. Thank God for the opportunity to be here because God don't have to let us be here this morning. So, yeah, continue, brother.
That's right. So we're here, man. So today we have Coach Tillmon from the West Side, of that place where, if you ain't used to it, man, it'll make you look sick. I used to hear Carmelo say when he was playing with Denver, man, he's like, your body got to get used to that Denver temperature. So all the way from Denver, Colorado, Coach Tillmon, man, is it pronounced Montebello High School?
Montbello
High School, defense coordinator, D-line coach. Welcome, man. Welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Thank you for having me. As always, thanks to Almighty. Glad to be here, man.
So, man, let's backtrack and tell us about your journey growing up and why you're so passionate about football and the position you played and what led you to coaching.
Okay. So the position I played did play was a D-line. I was a D-line. Did a little tight end. I actually ended up moving to 4 different high schools while I was there, and then kind of had to take the JUCO route, knucklehead, didn't listen, and then from the JUCO, it was kind of like the humbling experience that I needed to get me to where I am today, and so from JUCO, end up going off to play D3 ball at Greenville College. And then from there, I was kind of, my time at Greenville, I was doing an internship with George Washington High School under Coach James Everett. And that was kind of help me get my grades. He let me help me get my grades and things like that for one of my sports class. And while I was doing that, I was, after I graduated, I ended up going off to go play a little bit of arena ball. From arena, going back and forth with coaching. And that's where I kind of got my volunteer steps. It was under James Everett, working with him the previous 2 years. He then brought me on, and kind of from there as coaching and seeing the politics in arena, I end up stepping away and just focusing on coaching. Coaching ended up being the route that I wanted to go. One, it's a lot easier on the body, and two, I got a chance to put myself in a position to help the youth. Seeing my auntie do it for a long time. My auntie was a coach at, Kansas, Oklahoma University, for the women's basketball, assistant coach. My mom was a head coach for George Washington. So I've always been around the coaching culture. So I kind of want to follow that path as some of the people in my family.
Okay. So let's talk about your JUCO experience. You said you was a knucklehead, so you had to go to JUCO route. So what JUCO did you go to, and how did that help you be disciplined to be prepared for the Division 3 school that you attended? So let's talk about your JUCO experience.
Okay. So kind of, and I'm actually going to start with a little bit with high school real quick.
Okay.
In high school, I had a mentor in high school, and when it first started off, I was listening, doing well, and then the moment that I ended up going to a Catholic school, I kind of started getting into my own head and not listening to what my mentor had to say, and so it ended up ultimately grades dropped. Stressed out because I wasn't getting the offers that I wanted. The offers I had, I lost. And so I actually ended up having to take an offer from Colorado Northwestern Community College, which is up in the mountain in Rangeley, Colorado, which is in the mountains, for basketball. And so I took that, ended up going off there. One, it was a very small town. Like, we had one stoplight. There wasn't no Walmarts, no McDonald's, no nothing.
Sound like where Icon was born.
Man, look, the nearest McDonald's was 45-minute drive. So, going there and looking back at some of the mistakes that I made in high school, I said, okay, let me switch it up and start applying some of the things that my mentor was telling me about that I thought I was so naive to in high school. And so being up there with nothing around but ice cold mountains and deer, it kind of made me realize, like, this I know I shouldn't be here.
Mm-hmm.
So let me take the steps of, if I got the opportunity to knock out my work early, let me knock out my work early. Let me put in the extra time to study. And let me see how this goes and how this route works. And as I'm doing it, I started to see the increase of my grades. I started to see more playing time from my basketball coach, who told me I wasn't even going to be a starter. And I started applying these little principles that my mentor has showed me, as far as like the ripple effect goes. How does the ripple effect work? How does when you got extra time, what are you doing with that extra time? Are you going to use it in a productive manner? So being around people I didn't know, people I didn't want, that I would never associate with, kind of made me become the lone wolf that I needed to be able to enhance my opportunities to go play at the level that I wanted to play at.
Okay. So that JUCO experience was very humbling for you, and it taught you a lot of discipline, man. And so, what would you tell the youngsters, man, that don't receive scholarships from Division 1, Division 2, D3, NIA? Because I think a lot of times JUCOs are definitely forgotten about. I can tell you, a lot of me and my comrades was playing ball and stuff like that. JUCOs were mentioned, and they've been around for years. And so I
Right.
think a lot of coaches, I think they even forget about the JUCOs, because
Right.
a lot of me and my fellas we talked today, and we to this day, and we was like, man, like a lot of us could have went and played somewhere, even one Division 1, you know,
Right.
but the coaches didn't. We feel like the coaches didn't look out for the cookout, and but I also talked to a lot of players that I know that played in the NFL, that I had the chance to meet that went to a JUCO, and that's what really got them, to that Division 1. So, what would you say to parents and kids about JUCO collegiate athletics?
I would say it's tougher than D1. It is a tougher experience of playing because most of the kids that you end up playing against are the ones that either just didn't have the grades um, to play D1 yet, or they needed the extra time and the extra experience, but they still got those. They stay in contact with some of them coaches that um, was kind of on the edge about recruiting them or not. Um, so it is tough. But even with it being tougher and being more of a challenge, it's also a way to help get your name out there. Like I think a lot of people look at JUCO as it's just junior college. It's just no. It's college ball. It ain't just JUCO. It's not just you're just going out there playing against some rejects off the streets. No, you're playing some top tier guys. Um, like even with my experience, there's quite a few names I can mention. You had Cedric Felix, who was on the winning championship team for the Cleveland Cavaliers when they first won it. You got Pierre Jackson, who was drafted by the Philadelphia 76ers. Um, Not sure what this cat's doing, but his name was can't remember. I always forget his last name. His name was Will. He ended up going off to play for San Jose State, um, who was another potential draft pick or NBA guy. So the talent level there is off the charts, um, and I think if JUCO is the route you're gonna go, you got to understand too that it's gonna make you or it's gonna break you. Um, that's the biggest one that I know I tell kids is going to make you or is going to break you. If you go in there with the mindset that you're there to get out and get to the next level, and you focus on your grades, focus on the workouts that your coach gives you, focus on enhancing your game to the next level, then you could be very, very successful from JUCO. Um, but if you go in there with the same kid mindset, then I know guys that I was cool with that ended up ultimately jumping out of JUCO because they went in with the mindset of, oh, I'm here to party and I'm here to do A, B, and C instead of focusing on the the little nuances that they needed to get to the next level.
Okay, okay. And so that experience at Greenville College, once you left JUCO, what was that experience like for you? And what would you tell parents about once your kid leave JUCO and they transfer to Division 1, Division 2, Division 3? What should parents know, and how should kids prepare themselves from that JUCO level to transition into a new level of D1, D2, or D3?
I would say continue to continue to have the mindset that you're there to get better. You're there to get out. Um, we always hear that college is our best years. Um, you want to when you're in college, live a little and focus on what your goal is. Don't forget what the goal is. What's your end goal? So when you're getting ready to transfer in, or transfer out of JUCO to go to the next level, D1, D2, D3, have your end goal in mind already. If it's to go to the league, if it's to get your degree, then you need to make sure that you have your little sub goals that is going to prepare you to get you to that next level. And so when I went in and going in and transfer from JUCO to Greenville, I had my end goal in plan. My end goal was I didn't care what level. I wanted to be a professional. That's it. I wanted to say, hey, I got the opportunity to try this professional thing out for professional, whether it's NFL, NBA. I wanted to have the opportunity to put myself in a position to where I could be that. And I never lost faith in that. I never lost sight of that. I went in with the mindset that, okay, I need to focus on my spirituals. I need to focus on my mental, my emotions, and my physical body. And as I did that and started to see the way things transferred, there's going to be a negative talks that you get. Just I don't even pay attention to it. People are going to be negative. I always look at them as if you hating, then you hating. You hating, you got my name in your mouth, you're going to keep me relative. So I went in there with the end goal of being a professional, end up getting the opportunity to play professional arena football in the CIF, moved around a couple years and then got out, and I was satisfied. I accomplished something that most people say that they ever accomplished.
Okay, great. Okay, I go, man. Over to you.
Okay,
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that.
So basically, let's kind of get into the coaching aspect on the coaching side of things, because one thing I notice is, when you in your bio and everything, that you have an extensive background when it comes to coaching. You coach different parts of the game, or whatever, and so that kind of gives you a leg up. So with yourself, what insight do you feel like that you have, or a leg up you have over other coaches who only maybe coach one side of the ball?
One, where I feel like I have the inside ins is I'm always willing to learn. I've always have a learning mindset because learning never stops. Right? This game changes constantly. This game changes consistently. Whereas I know a lot of people, a lot of coaches, they'll get into their certain way and they'll just stay in that way. But if you're not trying to develop other aspects of the game and understand how the game is changing and revolving, then you're going to stay dormant. And I see it a lot out here in Colorado where, like, even when we have the Glacier clinics come out, and I always see the same familiar faces. And then when I'm playing against, certain people, it's like, man, your game has been the same since the time you started coaching to now, but the game has changed. Mm-hmm. And so if you're not willing to learn, then you're going to get left behind. So I'm always that guy who I didn't want to be left behind. So any opportunity I have to learn from somebody else, another coach, I'm going to take those opportunities to be able to do so. Like this year, went to the Glacier. I focused on offense. I focused on the offensive line. I focused on how the way offensive coaches think. And I focused on leadership and how to build a successful team. And I think that is ultimately I'm seeing the changes in my program, and everything is coming together the way I want my defense to come together.
Okay, now you saying that, what's the biggest adjustment over the years that you've had to make as a coach? Because we, like I said, we know the game the players have gotten bigger, they've gotten faster. Like especially on the college and NFL levels, it went from basically a running style type of game, grinded out, to throw the ball all over the lot. So what's the biggest changes you've had to make in the as a coach?
My pride and ego. My pride
Mm,
and ego.
mm,
When I first started, I came in with knowing that, I know everything. I can shut it down. Um, and then I got with an offensive-minded coach who showed me, yeah, you don't know everything, young buck, with James Everett. So, and the biggest thing he always told me, and being under his wing, is understand that this game's changed. His offense changed. He can run 5 plays at you in 100,000 different sets, and you'll never stop it.
mm, mm.
So, um, it's understanding that, okay, I don't know everything, so let me take a step back. Let me learn from the generations before me and the generations under me. Um, there's value to both sides, and so making that adjustment in that area allowed me to open my eyes and have more clarity on how the game's changing. So it kind of changed the way I think and the way I developed the playbook that I have now.
Okay. Yeah, because you do hear that about the good coaches. They may have, especially offensive wise, they may have like 3 or 4 plays, but they can run it in 40 different ways. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But it's basically the same
Absolutely.
play, but they just have different formations and different tricks they do with it. I think Andy Reid is probably one of those type of coaches. Kyle Shanahan, they're the type of coach that have 2 or 3 plays, but they can run it in so many different ways and have different players. Especially that's why I think they like those versatile type players. It's not always about the big names. It's just how versatile are you as a player, like a Christian McCaffrey, a Debo, certain players like that. But anyway, so before I give it to Steve, from the mental health side, we it's starting to become like disturbing in sports. Even on the end, like you see now, you've seen it with Ben Simmons. Now you see it with Zion. You know what I mean? Having these different issues of can't get on the court. And Zion said the other day, we was joking about it, but it's kind of serious to the same time when he said, "Well, I can't get back on the court until I feel like Zion." And I'm like, what? So when he first said it, it threw me off. But then I was like, man, that's sad that, you physically you're there, but mentally, because of everything you've been through as far as your injuries, you can't get yourself to get out there and play. So when you're dealing with players that you coach, what signs have you seen when you feel like the kid is going through something mentally?
So some of the signs that I've seen over the time, and it's more of, you'll see them act out a little bit more. Um, you know, like we had one player, um, he's acting out. He'll act out. He'll he'll miss practice. And then when he comes back, it's like he's kind of halfway there, halfway not. Um, or he's smoking weed before he comes to practice. Um, and to me, I always looked at it as, okay, that could be a sign of a cry out. And
Mm-hmm.
so, um, you know, there's been times where I let the head coach know. I'll bring the young man over, talk to him, um, see if everything's good, see what's going on, and then while he's looking at me, I kind of start judging the face, what he look like. Is his eyes low? Is he like really hesitant? Is it one word answers when he usually talks the most? So uh, I look at little things like that. So um, when I see things like that, it's usually a little changes that changes the kid, that you're like, yeah, you're not you today. So let's talk.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead, Steve.
Um, Appreciate you answering the question. Thank you for that. I like to talk current ball and what's currently going on. You know what I mean? Since everybody want to talk about Atlanta, everybody know where I stand. What are some of your influences, coaches wise, now that are currently coaching? Some of the people you currently coaching that you look at and say, "Man, I like how he do that." Oh, I love. I know everybody gonna say Deion Sanders, of course, but is there anybody that you look at and you're like, "Man, I like how he does such and such," or "I like how he do something"?
Right. The one big name that comes to my mind, um, right off the bat, and it's from a defensive coordinator perspective. And Steve, you're gonna like this one. Will Muschamp.
Yeah, I like that.
That is where the base of my premise comes from. Is Will. Just he has changed the game. He has changed the philosophy for defense, and the way that Georgia's defense operates. So he's one of the big names that I definitely look into, that I definitely research and I study all the time. You know, I believe in the attack react defense. I believe in
Mhm.
the spread defense and formula that they have. But then I put my own little spin to it to kind of make it my own. And then the other one is Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin, he's a winner.
Yep.
And I know there's a lot of criticism that he gets on the back end of it, but the way he's able to manage not only the players and the games, it works. So why not study a Hall of Famer? Those are two Hall of Famers that I believe that everybody should be studying. Because one, Mike Tomlin is going to show you from a not just a coaching perspective, but a mentor player's perspective on how to manage players. And Will Muschamp is going to show you how to win championships.
But
How to
before
win what? Hold on. You said how to win what? Hold on. Let that man repeat himself. He said how to win championships. Did you hear what that man said? That man said championships. Let that man finish talking.
That's very interesting to me, sir. How you put those two people in the same sentence. Very interesting.
But before you continue on, Steve, I was gonna say the thing about with Mike Tomlin that I don't like, that disturbs me about the way people look at him, because if he was, let's keep it real, if he was a white coach and he was that boisterous and the way he presents himself, oh, he a great coach, he a leader, he a motivator, he this, that, and a third, or whatever, because Bill Belichick can be as monotone as he want to, but he the greatest coach on earth. People like Mike Tomlin and even Deion Sanders, the fact even Mike Tomlin and Deion Sanders, even the way that they are, they come off combative sometimes, or they come off controversial because of the way they just passionate about what they do. But go ahead, Steve.
Exactly.
Man, so when are we gonna stop saying Belichick is the greatest coach? How long has it been since Brady left and he did absolutely nothing?
Hey, I agree with you. I'm just saying that's what their narrative is. I agree with you.
Book.
Exposed.
Comic book, man. Like stop with this comic book script. You know what I mean? Like that was all Brady and how Brady orchestrated that offense, bro. You know what I mean? Like Bill's struggling, bro. You know, I done seen better plays ran from a near football team.
And his track record of picking players is worse than Michael Jordan's. So
that's why he don't draft and he trade everybody. He don't use no draft picks. Y'all know that.
Yeah.
All right. So coach, you mentioned Mike Tomlin, and I think he's like the model of consistency when it comes to coaching, period. Like he's never had a losing season so far. You know what I mean? Always seems like he's the same person, regardless of when you talk to him. Seems like he wake up like that, he go to sleep like that. So you definitely can respect it and feel like he's a genuine person. So I agree. Mike Tomlin is definitely a coach that even myself, I look at it. I don't want to be like Mike Tomlin a little bit, or I take different aspects of his coaching. And then Will Muschamp, man, the way he had to reinvent himself from going from Florida and the way he did defense, going to South Carolina and what they did. And now, like you said, he's changed his whole defensive philosophy again to kind of fit the spread era of the game that we're in. I think those are two great, examples of what you're looking for in coaching. So I definitely agree with you on that. What's your favorite football team yourself, personally? Who is your go-to? Who you watch on Sundays or Saturday if you like college football?
Sundays, it's definitely the Steelers. I'm going to say that. It's definitely the Steelers.
Listen, ain't nobody worried about Sierra.
My pops, he's from South Korea, and so he ended up spending some time down in Harrisburg. And so crazy. I was going to either be one or two things. He was either going to be a Steeler fan or a Cowboy fan. Then when Tom Landry left,
Good choice.
he just said, I just want to be the Steelers. And so since he went to the Steelers, I had my choices, either Steelers or the Broncos. So I went to the dark side. And it was for the better because they win championships. Denver don't.
Yeah, man.
So, and then Saturdays, it's Oklahoma.
Ooh, they coming to the SEC. Ooh, it's
Oklahoma.
gonna be fun. All right, so you say you defensive line. You say you play a little tight end as well. What spot specifically on the defensive line do you love, or did you play yourself? Was it nose tackle? Talking about setting the edge on the defensive end, or were you an outside pass rusher?
I played all across the D line. So D end, when I was younger, was probably one of my favorite positions coming off the edge. And then as I got older and I started making different moves, the interior was a lot more fun.
You like to go in there and abuse somebody. That's what you trying to do.
Yeah, it was definitely probably the best part of the game was being on the interior. Because I never knew how much respect nose tackles got until I got there. Because there's two ways it could go, and everybody knows the same. If you ain't getting double teamed, you ain't that guy. And so
it's the best and the hardest position on the defensive line. Facts.
Exactly.
I agree.
Exactly. So I wanted to be that guy.
Okay.
So being that nose tackle and trying to see, okay, let me see where my game goes. Let me see if I'm gonna be that guy, or does a center can handle me one-on-one and call me a chump. And so that was probably one of my favorite positions.
Got to be a grown man to go in there and play that inside game. And your JUCO level, when guys in there knuckleheads and they don't care already, oh man, I know it's a whole different monster. So give me your top four. You don't get 4 spots. I always do this dog like this. Give me your top 4 defensive linemen all time. You only get 4. Your Mount Rushmore. All time.
I would have to start with Big Snacks, Casey Hampton.
Okay.
Another first on the show.
Mm-hmm. Another one, Vince Wilfork.
Yes, sir.
Ooh, yeah, you.
Man, talking about. And then you got Warren Sapp, man.
For his
size. Oh my gosh. Oh my God, for his size. It was
He changed the game. He changed the game from a nose tackle.
You put them on. If they was ever on the team together, in the NFL, Lord,
he changed it. And my last one is right now it's probably a tie because I love the both. I love the way both of them play the game. Is Aaron Donald or JJ Watt? But Aaron Donald, man, power, finesse, strength, speed. He has everything that you want in the D lineman. The smarts, the characteristics. So he'll probably have to be on that list of my top 4.
Great list. Like I said, we haven't had. It's the first time somebody mentioned Casey Hampton, and definitely he'll do the dog, man. So last question, I'm gonna turn it back over to Jacob. You talked about the players that you just named, and a lot of them being able to, have that technique, or a lot of them have that raw power. What do you think is more important for your defensive lineman playing in your system, in your scheme? Do you need someone who's more technically sound, or do you need someone who just got that rage in them, or that attitude, or that mentality that I'm just not going to lose?
For me, it's the mentality that I'm not going to lose. Especially at the high school level, like my biggest thing is I want D lineman who's going to attack. I don't care how you get there, but you're going to attack. You're going to create a new line of scrimmage, and then we're going to find the ball from there. My priority is to create a new line of scrimmage. If we're creating a new line of scrimmage, then everything else is going to fall into place. A lot of times at the high school level, our kids get used to trying to react and read and slow play. That doesn't work for the style of defense that I play, that I run. what works for me is being able to say, hey, we're attacking, we're coming for you. And you either gonna get the ball out quick or you don't have to just take that L.
Well, let me guess. You got that print. You got to have that posted somewhere because I've never heard nobody use that terminology. Create a new line of scrimmage since we've been doing this show. You know what I mean? So you got to have that posted somewhere in the office or in the locker room somewhere.
If not, get it up. If not, get it up.
Set on the board soon as your defensive player walk in, they need to see that somewhere. Create a new line of scrimmage.
That's it. You create a new line of scrimmage, you win the game, and that's both offensively and defensively. Our kids know it starts up front, and over time and watching our kids develop from there because their first year, most of them their first year playing was last year. You can see it. You can see out of the skills and alignment who's going to be the better athlete. And I ask them this every day: who's our true better athletes on the field? And everybody tell you our alignment. They work hard and they go and they attack, and they're our best group. And because that they understand what the purpose of the game is. If we want to win, it starts with them, and they don't want to be the ones that let you down.
Okay.
Back to you, Icon. I ain't have no more. I mean, Jacob, I didn't have no more questions. Thank you, Coach. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
So with you coaching that defensive line, man, do you also, work with them as far as their strength and their agility? Because a lot of people don't know nowadays. Some of the defensive linemen run like 4.6, 4.7,
Right.
4.8, and back in the day, there wasn't that fast. So defensive linemen are moving. You're 6'6", 378 pounds, and you're running a 4.6 and a 40. That's hard to get away from. And so,
Right.
how important for you coming from that defensive tackle position, that nose tackle position, that edge rusher? How is it important for you to make sure they understand technique, make sure they understand that they know how to throw the flipper, make sure they understand they know how to get them off balance, where they can just wipe them out the way. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because once you kind of get the offensive lineman off balance, it's kind of easy to maneuver and for you to shoot through the gaps to get to the running back or the quarterback. So how important is that for you to really get you guys to understand that technique is everything?
Technique is definitely one of the ones that are up there. The biggest one that I know for us personally, the way that we teach is push-pull. We try to keep it very simple for our guys, so that way they don't have 100 different moves that they could go through and they struggle which one to pick. No, you don't have 1 or 2 moves that you're going to use, and that's it. And you're going to master them, and you're mastering them to the best of their ability. Everybody says, well, you look at J.J. Watt, he has 1 move.
Yep.
And it's the swing move.
Yep.
That quick swing move right off the snap of the ball. Very, very hard to stop. He masters it. He practices it over and over. T.J. Watt, the one-arm stab with the dip and rip. That's all he practiced. They don't have a variety of moves. So when it comes to what moves you're doing, I'm gonna give you 2 to 3 options, and that's it. And you're gonna master them, and you're gonna perfect the one that you like, and you're gonna do it. And so we'll rep that technique over and over again until they'll master it. And now when they go off to college, if college coaches want to teach them the more advanced stuff, they can. But they're going to know the basics and how to do the basics. And so we practice the basics all day, every day, 110.
So, Coach, on that question there, do you guys look at film of the previous week and say, look, we know this guy have a hard time with this, we're going to go with this move? Or do you let the players kind of decide of those 2 or 3 moves that you gave them in the heat of battle, like what you need to do out there? Do you guys look at film to predetermine that and then make the adjustment in the game, or do you guys just let them choose? Like, hey, you got 3 moves, you know which ones you got, use whichever one you think gonna win.
Right. So I always tell them, you'll have your first move and you got your counter.
Okay.
And then your third move is your move that you feel is your best. And so we'll play a setup game where, you know, you're going to push, pull. You can push, pull, swim, push, pull, rip, whatever it is that is your moves and your moves to go to. And so we'll watch film and say, okay, this is why your move didn't work and this is how you fix it. But going into a game, man, is do what's comfortable. At the end of the day, do what's comfortable. Because as long as you're comfortable, you're able to play fast, you're able to play physical and be more violent. And then we'll adjust as the game goes.
Cool. I like it. Jacob, you're on mute, my boy. Are you Cowboy fans?
Yeah. Hey, watch your mouth, man. Watch your mouth, because I come to Atlanta, I pull up.
Me too. You ain't far. You down the street. You right down the street.
And you know I ain't coming by myself. So no, don't play.
You here next weekend. I'm gonna see you next weekend, my boy.
Yeah.
On a Sunday morning.
Yeah. Huh? It's just a little conversation.
Ain't no violence. We just gonna talk. We gonna have a little. We just gonna do a little talk.
It's the same conversation you have with your pastor. Well, why you ain't preach out?
Nah, it ain't. We're going to Magic City. We ain't taking the pastor to Magic City. We ain't taking the pastor to Magic City.
What? So you gonna mean to tell me that you ain't seen none in Magic City? I beg the difference.
I ain't gonna tell you.
But anyway, man, that's all I have, man. Man, Coach, I want to thank you for coming on, man. You definitely dropped some jewels, man, and much respect, much love to you on your future endeavors, man, and keep inspiring the youth, man, because we definitely need more of you out here like this.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, Coach, tell them where they can find you. Well, first, before you say that, man, I just hope to see that because I see you're super knowledgeable of the game. So I hope at some point you get that head coaching job on the level so you can, really push the envelope, because we definitely need more black coaches that's knowledgeable and that can kind of push the needle. I don't, me personally, I don't really care, where you have to go. Everybody, of course, everybody want to be at the Power Fives and all that, but wherever you can land, especially if you can get to that Division I level, it's gonna make an impact either way. You know what I'm saying? And then you kind of build that program and then go from there. So that's definitely where we want to see you at, to get to that level, wherever it may be. But just tell everybody where they can find you, and if they want any information or follow the school and all that, and follow yourself.
All right. And one last thing before I do that too, for all the young people out there, go find a mentor. Like that go find a mentor. Like, if I had the opportunity to meet Zion and somebody Ja who's struggling, go find a mentor, man. Like, seriously. A lot of the stuff that has happened in my life is because I have a mentor, or because I had a mentor. They are huge in everything that we do. All the wealthiest people in the world has a mentor. They got knowledge. They're gonna tell you what you don't want to hear, and they're gonna tell you what you need to hear. So go get a mentor. Other than that, you can find me. I'm on Facebook, Twitter. You can find me on Instagram, dtillman86 is the Twitter handle. Dominic 80_20 training is the Instagram, and then Facebook is just my name, Dominic Tillmon.
Hey, I got a question real quick before you get out here. You in the Colorado area. How has Colorado accepted them? I know everybody else and the national perspective. How have the people in Colorado themselves looked at that situation?
They love it. They are grateful to have them. But out here in Colorado, the he's already been in a situation with the God situation. As we know, he is a very God-fearing man, a holy man. And, I don't know what it is about Colorado and us being outspoken about our faith. They want to, they feel like some people are offended about it, right? They're offended that he's so outspoken about it and they want something done. But at the collegiate level, there's nothing you can do. That's more at the high school level, in which I'm very disappointed in, because I'm a God-fearing man. Nothing happens without Almighty. So that he's taking a little bit of fire to that, but for the most part, everybody has accepted him, and we'll see what would happen. Hopefully it gets to a point where our kids understand that if you want to get recruited and go play for Dion, you got to put in the work that Dion's looking for. And that's the issue that our kids are going to have a problem with.
Well, I'm going to say this too right before we leave, because you talked about Zion, we talked about Ja, and I even, I was watching the interview, and Smokey Robinson was talking about Michael Jackson. He said he felt like at the end of Michael Jackson's biggest downfall was the fact that he excluded himself from everybody that told him no, even family members. So if you in a situation where you so high, you get so big, then even like Kanye West, you hear people that's been around him to say that nobody's willing to tell him to shut the F up and, you know what I mean, and stop talking. So if you get those people around you who care more about the money than your well-being, then you need to remove them. Like even I told my son who is aspiring to be a music artist, I tell him, I say, if you got people around you who never check you and just gonna agree on everything that you do and say, that's the person you need to get rid of. Not the person that's saying yes to you all the time, because the person who's telling you no, that's the person that care about you. Just like the way me and your mom do, or your grandmother would. You know your grandmother care about you because when she told you come out and you stink, you can go in and take a bath. Or you know what I mean, or whatever. You like, dang, grandma, why you gotta be so harsh? But that your grandma cared about you at the end of the day when she tell you the truth. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So that's definitely what these young people got to understand. I don't care how great of a running back, deep tackle, whatever you become. If that person around you on campus is willing to put you in situations that will get you caught up, like the one guy who, that could have destroyed his life over at Alabama with the gun situation. See, those little small moments could destroy everything. You know what I mean? Brandon Miller, it could have been over with off that one decision.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So
right. And I just want to piggyback on what you say. I'm from South Carolina, so I know Ja, I know Zion, and I know that they used to be on the same AAU team, so I know that they had a great mentor growing up. So I don't really know if they lost contact with that mentor, because one of my cousin's sons played with them on the AAU team, and my cousin was one of the assistant coaches. So I know that they come from a good stock when it comes to family, and when it comes to community, and when it comes to mentorship. So sometimes when you go to a prestigious league like the NBA and you get millions of dollars, but things that you was taught, you kind of overlook because the money takes over your mind, and it gets inside your membrane. Money can do a lot of things. It's a powerful tool, but how you enhance that tool to make your lifestyle better, your family lifestyle better, and to remain humble and to remain teachable and coachable, regardless of what level you're at. You always teachable and coachable, because I'm pretty sure it's some things that E.F. Hutton and Bill Gates and people like Michael Jordan and Denzel Washington, they still remain coachable and remain teachable. Don't nobody know everything, because the world evolves every day and you learn something new every day.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just need to learn how to be coachable on the basketball GM side, because he ain't getting coached.
I don't really think he care, Icon. Only we care. He don't.
I'm just playing.
He don't.
All right.
Wow.
But we out of here, y'all, man. Everybody have a blessed Sunday, and we see y'all next week.
See you later, Dan Snyder.
Thank you for having me.
Sit by the bar, all the drinks on me. go too far. Sitting by the bartender, asked her.